Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will bring you a person who will give a lifestyle different probably from yours. Not the American way, but the Brazilian way. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Paulo Bergerot.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Oh, it was much easier last week. Okay, may I talk like this?
Take a deep breath.
All right. Can I start right now? Okay. Well, good night, fellow Toastmasters. I'm here today. To do, for the second time, my icebreaker presentation. As I was introduced, I am a medical oncologist from Brazil. I'm working here at City of Hope as a postdoctoral fellow. So I need to improve my communication skills, either in terms of formal presentations and also during my daily activities in impromptu conversations and impromptu discussions of several projects. So, as I am a very persistent guy, I am looking to improve my English level the most I can, and also my ability to articulate better in my professional and personal life. So, for my first presentation, for my first icebreaker presentation, I was struggling about this subject. So I started to think which was my very first presentation, my very first public presentation. Well, I could come back to 1979 when I was a 3-year-old boy in the kindergarten, and in that situation, all the classroom, all my classmates, all my colleagues were sat down on the floor, making a very big circle, and the activity in that day was that all the kids should go in the center of the circle and say something to the rest of the group. That was the activity of this day, and the golden rule was we should never interrupt our colleagues. I don't remember what I was going to say. However, I really remember that I need to say to my teacher that I want to pee. I need to go to the bathroom. So I could not interrupt my colleagues speaking, and I was one of the last ones. So suddenly I realized that my problem was kind of kind of solved by itself when I noticed that I was completely wet and also my colleagues beside me. So it was an embarrassing situation. That's why I remember until today I was a 3-year-old. So it was not tragic because in the end of this story I was laughing with my colleagues. I remember pretty well this moment. So, of course, I'm not here today because of this fact. It was not so traumatic like this. I'm here because among my current activities, as I told, I frequently have some oral presentations about a research project or something like that. Sometimes I succeed, however, sometimes I don't. And this is the most frequent scenario. But the point is, I can never present a speech, can never do a public presentation without reading a script, without reading a paper, and without having a paper in my hand. Of course, it's a good strategy to avoid to be lost on my speech and to forget some important points in my discussion. However, I think that's a kind of a subconscious strategy as well to avoid to face the public and to have eye contact with the public. Probably today is my second. My last one was last week. But it's my second presentation when I am trying to have eye contact with the public, which is great for me. This is a very big challenge. So a landmark example of how much I need to improve my presentation skills occurred 2 months ago in a very small meeting in my department. It was a super easy presentation. I had to discuss a project which I participate on the design of this project. And I prepared 10 slides about this presentation. However, I don't know why I insisted to have a paper on my hand, and it makes me more confused, especially because my boss, who is a great speaker, sat down exactly in front of me, and I did the most stupid thing ever, because I pretended to him that I was not reading the paper, but I was with my paper here, and every time I lifted my head and I could see him staring at me without his usual friendly face, and I started to be scared, and in the end of this moment, it was tragic. It was really tragic, because I panicked and everything was lost. After that, he had a very serious meeting with me and recommended me to never more have a paper on my hand, especially when I know the subject that I was talking about. And then it was on that situation that he he suggested me to know better about Toastmasters, and I started to looking for some groups on the internet. I found this group here, and that's the reason I'm here, starting this. That's my abbreviated history. Thank you. Thank you.
That's the voice I'm waiting for. See, it's loud. We have to practice. We have to practice our diaphragm.